Hi, welcome to Reel Doofs. I'm Drew, and I've seen a lot of movies.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Joe.
And we also like to watch movies. We just haven't seen nearly as many as Drew has.
Not nearly as many. I think Drew's seen the most movies out of everyone I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you. I think also the reason this kind of came about was because Brian and Joe do see movies, but they haven't seen a lot of movies that would be deemed essential viewing because they're young babies.
Fair.
So the whole point of this podcast is that we are going to be watching some movies that are somewhat essential to our time. And
Classics, some would say.
yep.
Yeah.
Some would say classics. We'll dabble into a little bit of everything, some new, some old. But really the whole thing we want to do here is just kind of watch some movies, but also I want to know what Brian and Joe think these movies are about without ever seeing them. Some of these are going to be so well-known pop culture-wise that they're going to know some details, like our first movie. But will they know what the movie's actually about? And that's what we're going to dive into. So the first movie we're going to do today is going to be the 1984 classic, The Terminator by James Cameron. So, Brian, Joe, what do you guys think The Terminator is about?
So, a few minutes ago, when you said it was directed by James Cameron, Cameron was the first time that I knew that it was directed by James Cameron. It's like the Titanic and Avatar guy, right?
Yes,
right?
Titanic,
So I know
Avatar
that.
guy. Yes,
Only
cool.
those two movies.
Only those two movies.
He's the guy who messed up the stars in Titanic, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's that guy. Guy who fucked up the constellation pattern.
This is the best part is that this is like...
Also have not seen Titanic.
Oh,
You haven't seen
God.
Titanic?
No.
Oh, God.
Is that going to go on the list?
That's going to
But
probably
we've
have to
both
go on the
seen
list.
that.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, the third highest grossing film of all time is probably going to have to go on the list. Okay.
So what do you definitely know about Terminator, Brian? Because I don't know much.
There's a robot in it.
There's a robot. I know Arnold plays a robot, some kind of robot. He is probably the Terminator.
I think so.
Possible. Yeah, that's a good thought.
I don't know if he's like a good guy or a villain.
Yep.
And I know he says "I'll be back" at one point.
That's really
the classic
Yeah.
line.
What do you think that's in reference to? Where do you think he's going?
I'll go through my plot points.
Okay,
and, I'll mention that.
All right, cool.
But what I do know is I think there's a motorcycle in it. I think he rides a bike.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
He probably wears a leather jacket, you know.
Yep.
And yeah, so that's all I really know about this movie. It's referenced so much.
Okay, so let me just make sure I've cleared out. Are you going to go through your bullet points, or were
Yeah.
those a majority of them already?
Yeah. Do you know anything else, Brian? Before I go through my points, my guesses.
I know there is a character named Sarah Connors.
Okay.
Okay.
Sarah, I've never heard.
That's the only additional fact that I knew
Sarah
from your list. I have
Connors.
no idea if that is actually the name of the person. I'm only 87% sure that's the name of the person in this movie.
Okay, so you know. Okay, all right, okay,
But I know that there's somewhere around there.
all right,
I also have a pretty big guess around that on my list, but I'll let you go first.
So
all right. Yeah, true.
yeah, I just want to get the quick things out right now. So what Brian and Joe are fairly confident about is that one, Arnold Schwarzenegger is in the movie, and he is possibly the Terminator. He might
I'm
be
pretty
good.
sure he's the Terminator.
He's got to be.
He
the
might be
Terminator.
Gotta be.
bad.
He'll definitely be back.
He'll be back.
to something.
He possibly rides a motorcycle and wears a leather jacket.
At one point,
At
maybe not
one
the whole
point,
time.
okay.
I just feel like
Yes.
I think he gets
I've
off the
seen it.
motorcycle at some
He gets
point.
okay. So it's just
It's not the whole movie.
all right,
on
all
it
right.
the whole movie. No.
So those are the basics. Oh, and there's a character named Sarah Connors that we're not sure is actually in the movie, but we're pretty sure is. Okay, I think we've nailed down a few things. Let's go with Joe, because Brian's drinking water here.
All right.
Joe, what can you give me about the plot? What is the plot of the Terminator to you?
Okay, here we go. I think it takes place on Earth, present day, which 1984. So nothing special. It doesn't take place in the future, really. Though I saw the menu of the DVD going, and that's when I was like, oh shit, I think this might take place in the future. Anyway, I'm going to stick with it. 1984, right? Is that
cool.
All right. Scientists or military or government, they created a machine to be their ultimate assassin or weapon or line of defense. And it looks and operates just like a human.
Sweet.
They name it the Terminator.
Okay.
Originally designed to take commands, but Terminator doesn't necessarily, he doesn't become self-aware, but he eventually begins working on his own terms. And this is dangerous because what if it starts killing like the creators? What if it starts killing innocent people?
Some AI shit right here.
Yep. So some highly trained soldiers are hired to take down the Terminator. They fail, but they begin to realize that the Terminator is only killing people that deserve it.
Ooh, this is good. Okay.
So the Terminator gets away, and he goes into hiding amongst civilians because he looks just like a human.
Yeah.
And the creator. Okay, so later on, the creators or whoever it was created them, they find themselves in trouble and they need military help or rescue. A good time for them to have this Terminator guy around.
Right.
Terminator shows up, helps everyone, saves the day. He's ready to take off, and right before he leaves, he says, "I'll be back." And it's kind of like a "I'll be here when you need me" kind of thing. Like I'll be back. Sweet. I'll be your like defense guy. I'll be your like your support when you need me. That's his "I'll be back."
Gotcha.
And then he rides off on his motorcycle, and that's like where it ends. Because I know there's Terminator 2. I know is there a third one? I know there's another. I believe
there'll be 6. Let me think.
Wow,
here.
I did not.
1, 2, 3. Then 4th was Salvation. Then 5 was the Genesis. So then 6 is the new one, Dark Fate.
November?
Yeah.
Okay.
6. This will be the 6th installment.
All right. Okay. So, yeah.
So, I mean, he'll be back and he'll be there to help. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. No, like that's cool. And I think, you'll be surprised,
All right.
I think so.
Okay. All right.
Brian, I think you'll be surprised too, just because you're looking at me. So let's hear. What is the Terminator about to you?
So I'll get to sort of like my guesses, but I wrote the cold open of the movie.
Okay, great.
Because I just have a good feeling that I know exactly what the cold open is going to be about.
All right.
So the camera pans across a post-apocalyptic city in the not-so-distant future of 2021. So the movie actually starts in the future. Cut to a small office styled in what the 1980s thought the future would look like. So there's still a lot of wood grain, but computers are sort of, tan, a lot of green screens on the computers. Sure. At a desk sits an older woman who has her head in one hand and a whiskey in the other. In walks a young Arnold Schwarzenegger carrying a tray of tea. His model of robot was designed for a peaceful existence of serving tea. I think I found a way to solve all of this, says the woman. Arnold stares blankly because he's a robot. I need to adjust your programming and send you back to stop someone, she says. Arnold nods as she taps away on a not not an apple, but it's like an apple, but from the future, but it's like one from the 80s.
Yeah.
Future apple. Yeah.
Future apple. Yeah. Gotcha.
She plugs it into the back of Arnold's head. You can see her adjust a murder skills slider on the laptop. And you can see the title of the software is T2300 because that's what model of robot he is.
Okay.
Pretty sure he's a T2300.
T23.
Because he's a tea-serving robot. So
when you said tea, I was like, ooh, tea for Terminator. I can see that. And for some reason, I feel like 23, that's in the movie somewhere, like 2300. I feel like T23 is.
I think that was like the third one or something.
I think that's okay.
I don't know.
She basically puts him into like a
Time machine?
Yeah, time machine.
Okay.
But it sort of looks like the machine that makes The Fly. From
The Fly?
From The Fly.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
And like, a piece of like light happens and then it cuts to an Arizona desert. So I think the next part of the movie is in Arizona.
Okay.
In 1984.
Cool.
So now we're back in the past, and you see cameras low on the road, and you see a tumbleweed do a tumble. A cool motorcycle zooms by with a youngish girl driving it.
Motorcycle.
You cut to that girl like entering a house. Although we do see like in the bushes on the side of the highway, you as it like quickly pans by, you see Arnold be like, "That's a cool bike. I'm gonna have that by the end of this movie." And he steals that motorcycle at some point.
Makes sense.
This girl, you see her entering a house and she's casually making herself a sandwich, but the camera slowly stops focusing on her and starts to pan through the house into a basement where we see someone working on a small piece of like electronic thing. When he's done, he picks up the piece and places it into the back of a metallic head, and the camera's on the back of that head facing the front of the scientist's face. Yeah. And as this piece of stuff sort of like starts to glow, a red light from that head hits the scientist's face, and then the camera instantly turns black and the Terminator logo pops up because that dude was making the Terminator in the basement.
I see. And it's taken like many years for him to perfect the T.
It. Yeah, basically you're looking at like C-3PO and Phantom Menace at this point.
Yeah.
And 20 years later you get that gold armor.
Sweet.
So
40 years later, I can't know.
So are you saying the movie takes place?
So the girl on the motorcycle is Sarah Connors. Here's my guesses. Girl on the motorcycle is Sarah Connors.
Sarah Connors.
Connors.
Well, we're going to go with Connors for now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the original guess was Connors.
Yeah, it's Connors. Sarah Connors sends the rope back. So I think the woman in the office that I described earlier is also Sarah Connors. She's going back to stop herself. Her dad is the one who builds the Terminator.
Oh, shit.
Robots are bad. This one is good.
Oh, shit.
I'll be back as the last line of the movie.
Ooh.
It's one of my guesses.
Okay.
Sarah Connors' dad invents the robot. I said, so my guess, the bullet point that I wrote down was Sarah Connors' dad invents robots or Sarah Connors' son makes them evil. And he's back to stop one of those two things from happening. This one's a stab in the dark, but I'll be so happy. This is an offshoot of the popular TV show Roseanne, where Sarah Connors is actually related to the Connors family. In the future, robots and humans have completely destroyed each other. And my last bullet point was something Skynet. So there's like a social media network called Skynet that helps out with the Terminator or something.
I like that. Okay.
Where did this come from?
I've heard Skynet in just pop culture. But
No,
I don't know what it
not
actually
just
is.
Skynet, but the whole cold opening. Like you must have had seen something that sparked this. Or you're just really banking on what you know about movie making and writing, and you're like, this must have been what they wrote.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's that. With my zero experience of movie making, that's my guess.
Right.
And Joe, just because Brian got to say, what do you think the opening shot of the movie is going to be?
Oh man, I think it's gonna be just like panning over like a busted lab. Like kind of like where he was just created.
Okay.
But he kind of like woke up and he just like, he did the Hulk thing where he just destroyed the lab. And he's like, what am I?
Okay.
He's not self-aware though. So
No,
that doesn't really make, he kind of just like, overpowered the people making him, and he like, I don't know, kind of got away or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I heard Skynet mentioned. What does the name Cyberdyne Systems mean to you guys?
Cyberdyne. That's definitely like the lab that makes him.
Okay.
That's gotta be
Cyberdyne
right?
Systems, the lab. Brian?
Cyberdyne.
It feels like Skynet is sort of like Stark Industries, and whatever the Cyberdyne thing is
like Justin Hammer's
Hammer's like not quite as good, like breaks his back in a suit of armor type thing, trying to recreate Iron Man.
Okay.
So it's like the villains
it's
villains
the store brand.
Labs. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So
all right.
Are we good, guys? Are you ready to watch the Terminator?
I'm so ready.
Let's watch the Terminator.
Awesome. Go.
This is still credits.
No, this is the opening.
I was like,
it starts in space.
okay, that's not okay. All right.
The galaxy is on Orion's belt. Oh shit, Brian was very close.
Yeah. Yes.
Brian was very close.
I was so close.
He guessed that it took place in an apocalyptic future in 2021. It is 2029. Not Arizona, Los Angeles, but Brian, points for you, man. Joe is also right. Arnold Schwarzenegger is in this movie.
They figured out how to time travel.
No, I think he just grows up, like, into 29.
So what you're saying is that electrical interference and Arnold just appearing you don't believe was time travel?
No, God created him.
God created him just then? Or
He was like, I'm done
Was
with
he-
humans, I want robots.
was he there the whole time?
Oh, that was him time traveling
Well,
back?
I don't know. I mean, that's the question.
Whatever they're doing, they couldn't figure out how to do it with clothes? Like,
no.
nah, naked's the only way we could do this.
At the moment, yeah.
I already forget what that opening text said. I'm like overthinking it now.
Connor.
Oh shit!
The letter
But it
off.
was so close. It is Sarah Connor. And
Is she on a
what is
motorcycle?
riding? What is she riding?
It's a little moped. No, is it a motorcycle?
It's gotta be a moped. Damn.
What
It's the
is-
1980s. They didn't let women ride motorcycles yet.
That's true. That is a scooter.
What the heck?
What a dick.
A little child just put some ice cream into Sarah Connor's apron. What a comment on society today, guys. Plasma rifle. What a piece of shit.
Oh, shit. I think I was like, you can take all the big ones right now if you want them, but you gotta wait on these little hand ones.
All right, I think this guy.
Yep.
Wants to help Sarah Connors,
Oh!
and Arnold wants to, I don't know, kill her or capture her.
Are they in New York right now?
No, they're in Los Angeles.
Why does everyone have a New York accent? Hey, you wanna buy some guns?
Yeah, close early today.
Hey, you got a real attitude problem.
PTSD or future?
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, technically it's in the past.
It's in the past in his mind, but
It's in the timeline of the future, right? Right? Because they went back in time.
Right, but his past, his future, like his past happened.
Yeah.
And when you're building in circles further and further down, and then pull your
This is your
hands
mom. Go
off
back
with
to your
my
room.
teeth.
Who is this?
A lot of times in movies, they don't actually have music playing. They put it in afterwards. I think these guys are jumping around like assholes.
gotta get that. Gotta get that midnight.
Yeah.
Sandwich and milk.
All right, so he doesn't know what she looks like. He only knows that he needs to kill the correct Sarah Connors from Los Angeles.
So if he just kills all of them,
Yeah, yep.
he's safe. Is that how big guns are? Or guns that just seems so big.
I feel like Uzis aren't usually that big, right?
Oh shit.
Fun fact: there's a if you have an Apple II computer, like the second Apple ever made, if you type in a special command, the screen will go into Terminator view, the red view that he sees.
It's John Mulaney as a
1L19,
cop.
I got a hit and run felony.
So he can mimic people's voices.
That's not just young Arnold. That's not what he said.
That's not what it sounds like.
Important to know. Cyberdyne Systems Model 101.
Model 101.
Cyber 9 Systems.
Cyber 9, yeah.
So he's not even a real Terminator. Wait till we get to the Skynet one.
Not stop. Ever. Until you are dead.
Or until true love's first kiss.
So she's the mother of a future guy who rallies.
the people to fight back. Am I understanding that correctly?
I think so. But yeah, who is the dad?
Right? Is it
I
gonna
still think it could be the Terminator.
Yeah, like it could somehow be this weird. I don't know.
We still think the dad's the Terminator. Ooh, no!
Oh. Oh.
Oh no. He put a knife in his eye.
The funny thing is, we find out he's not really a robot. He's just a crazy guy.
Yeah, there's just nothing in there.
Oh, he's taking his eyeball out. Oh, it's just like the covering.
Oh, it's just
to
a
his-
contact.
To his robot eyeball.
Exactly.
Leather jacket.
There we go.
There it is.
Jacket. There it is.
I'll be back.
Not the last line of the movie.
Well, maybe it is. It could end right.
Oh, maybe he says it again.
I don't think that was.
What you were thinking? Where do you think he's going?
Oh, he's gonna like drive a car through this desk. Oh my god!
Oh, you got it! Smushed him.
All right, so that's him coming back.
That's
There-
him coming back.
I get the reference now.
I thought that was Stallone for a moment, and I was
yeah, I
going to be
thought-
like, that's the...
I did too. I was like, is that Sylvester Stallone?
That would have been the best cameo ever.
Is that Rambo?
Shows, say hello to my little... That's not him, is
That's
it?
Scarface.
All right, why does he have that picture? I mean,
Yeah,
is he,
right? Like that's...
Is he that much like, oh, like your son is?
Unless he
our
does go back
leader?
to the future, because he said
Oh my gosh.
2027.
Wait.
So this is actually his future.
Wait,
He falls in love with her, and he has to go back to the future.
what if? No, I was like, what if?
This Reese is from 2027. The one we just saw is from 2029.
I was dreaming about dogs.
What if he's
We use them to spot Terminators.
Sarah's?
He's
Son.
John Connor. He's
What if
lying.
he's the son?
Maybe he's his own dad.
What if he is John Connor? Got flies on his face and stuff.
Got a dead cat in there or what?
It's me, the dad from Matilda.
You have a dead cat in there? Possible response. Fuck you, Chris.
You asshole.
Fuck you, asshole.
I mean, Arnold and Danny DeVito did do a movie together in the 80s as well, called Twins, where they were twins. Joe?
Motorcycle.
Oh.
Yeah. Leather
Basically,
jacket and
Joe-
motorcycle.
You basically knew the plot of this movie.
He just confessed his love for his leader's mom.
Yeah. And then also, thanks for making these bombs. I'm going to angrily put them in the stuff
Yeah,
bag.
like I had to be so careful about screwing the lids on, and now I can just smash them. What?
There's a moment in here somewhere where he's thinking, oh shit, I'm John's dad.
She gave like that some weird look, like that just didn't, that just wasn't right.
you're getting close.
Yeah.
Oh, they died.
They both passed out.
Oh, he's gonna walk right out of that.
No, I think he's dead. This is the last one they ever made.
a fast, limping robot.
Your production facility did twice the amount of work it did in that one day. How do you explain it?
Well, we're working really hard, boss. All day, all night.
He just busts through and he's like, Dad?
How did that guy manage to like start up this whole line?
Well, he just flicked all those switches.
He's turned everything on.
Yeah. I wish the Terminator just turned off everything, like unflicked everything. He's like, I can't track him. Click, 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 click,
Who knows
click.
where to shut off these things?
Yeah. Flick, 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 flick.
Or maybe one of the machines will build him a heart. So he can love.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what you were hoping for, right?
I mean, machines need love too, right?
That's
From the answering machine?
That's what it foreshadowed.
Yeah, like, was that just pointless foreshadowing? Like, stick it in him. Yeah.
He'll never get that out.
Oh, shoot. Alright. Alright, now he's dead. Except maybe, like, his eye or something.
Is her leg broken? I have traveled through time for you. Beep boop beep boop beep. Kyle Reese killed us all.
This is where one of the machines accidentally breaks her lightsaber. And then Obi-Wan gets pissed.
So, Kyle's the father. Oh man, this is a good time travel movie.
Look at didn't you predict
I said a tumbleweed will tumble. That's a tumble and tumbleweed.
I know.
I'm so confused.
And now she's going to Mordor.
Now she's going to Mordor.
So she has to send...
She doesn't have to send anybody. She just has to have the kid.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The Terminator.
Yes.
The Terminator.
Terminator.
Is it really called The Terminator?
It is, yeah. I guess we can go for our rating on it. How necessary do you feel that it was that you should have seen this? What is your idiot rating from 1 to 5? 1 being like, nah, I didn't really need to see this, to 5, I'm an idiot for not seeing this sooner.
I'm gonna go 4.
4, yeah?
Yeah, definitely 4 because I have a hard time giving things a perfect score.
Sure.
But
we'll get
4,
one
it's
for you.
definitely up there. It seems like one of those like one of the first. I don't know if it was one of the first, but it seems like it was early in the whole cyborg movie genre. Like so there was the whole. I know Battlestar Galactica. I'm not sure when that started coming out with the cyborgs and stuff, or the Cylons, right? But it seems like it kind of started this little like maybe it was like it started the time travel thing or started the whole cyborg thing. But I definitely should have seen this sooner.
Well, it definitely started the whole cyborg and time travel thing, the combination.
Yeah, okay.
And the movie cost to make, I think it was a little bit over $6 million, and it made over $7 million. Now, in 1984, that's actually a pretty decent amount to make more than what you cost.
Yeah.
And over time, it's made more money going, and it's grown. You know, it's a very popular franchise. So it's definitely one to watch, and I think also it had a lot of influences in future movies and time travel. A lot of movies will talk about Terminator or Back to the Future when they talk about time travel in their own way too.
Yeah.
So it's definitely one of those ones that is impactful on the future of film.
Okay.
And it launched the career of James Cameron as well.
Okay. Nice.
So Linda Hamilton, who played Sarah Connor, also ended up marrying James Cameron for a little while shortly after this movie.
Oh, funny.
Did Jim Cameron write any of the other future Terminator movies?
Just the second one. And then I believe when the last one was coming out, they were actually touting it that Cameron gave his blessings. He said he liked the story and things like that. But they actually had previews in the movie theater trying to get people excited for the last Terminator for Genesis, with Cameron saying like, "Oh, it's a good movie. It makes sense. It goes back to what I was thinking." But the rights to the Terminator franchise just reverted back to James Cameron this year. And that's why this new Terminator one, he's involved with the story.
Interesting.
But he's not like, he's produced it and he came up with the story. And that's why it's also since Cameron's been back for this, he did Terminator 1, Terminator 2, and then he was not involved in 3, Salvation, or Genesis, like actually fully involved. With those, only Arnold had been back for most of those, where this time around, Linda Hamilton is back as Sarah Connor. It's her first time back since Terminator 2. So I think having James Cameron back and involved, I think, was something that really worked for her.
Nice. Okay.
Cool.
So last thing, I guess we'll talk now, and then we can decide if we want more or not. But like, yeah.
What was your score, Brian?
Oh yeah, you're 1 to 5.
Score it?
I'd probably score it. It's hard, right? Because the scoring I feel like is like a 2-part thing. I feel like I'm basing it on like, should I have seen this based off of pop culture information?
Yes.
And then also like, I'm balancing that with, is it like a good movie?
Was it enjoyable? Yeah.
Here in 2019.
Sure.
And I'm going to score it 1 point lower. I'm going to give it a 3.
Yep.
Okay.
I get that. Yeah.
I'm about to say that it was like a little predictable.
Sure.
Yeah.
Even though I made a lot of guesses that did not come true.
That's true.
But as the movie's going, I was like, okay. And to be fair, some of that's probably because a lot of the movies that I have seen have taken stuff from Terminator. But
yeah, fair.
But watching it now for the first time in 2019, I don't know. I do think that the mystery of it is really interesting. Like, I do want to know more about like the time travel stuff, like what happens in the other movies.
Yeah.
Like Arnold definitely comes back, right?
Well, I mean,
I have no idea if he's in Terminator 2.
So I'm not going to ruin anything because we need to watch it. But one thing they did say is that these are models, Terminators that are on an assembly line.
Yep. Okay.
So there could be
Arnold
thousands
comes back.
of Arnolds out there for all we know.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Lots of them if we,
Oh yeah, he's definitely back,
it's possible.
and he's probably,
Better than
I think
ever.
he's gonna say, "I'll be back again."
Ooh.
I don't know.
Very nice. Very good prediction. It's possible.
You just start
You'll have to-
working on our plots.
Yeah,
Terminator
for
2.
for
Yeah.
the, for
Day
the
of
next
Atonement.
episode.
Yeah. It's actually Judgment Day.
Whatever.
Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Not Day of Atonement. What was your favorite scene in the movie? Was there anything that stuck out?
I don't want to say I'll be back because that seems so typical for me to choose that.
A little
scene,
cliche.
but that was my favorite scene.
Yeah, I mean, it was.
He was like,
That
"Oh,
was
you'll
the
have
most
to,"
like 80s moment where he like drives
like-
the car through.
and he was like, "Oh, you'll have to wait. Just wait here." And then he'll be like, "Oh, I'll be back." And he just drives through the door in a car.
I think also one of the cool things about this movie and its sequel is that a lot of things from this movie, even plot holes, are brought up into the next one. So there's a lot of things that thread into the next one. So for me, there's a lot of really cool scenes because, again, I like it when movies are layered very nicely together and the effects of the first one have something to do with the next one or the next one. And there's a lot in the next one, so which is cool. I hope you guys, when we get to it, I hope you like it and I hope you remember it. Yeah, I think one of my favorite scenes is probably just the reveal of like the Terminator like be in the full like endoskeleton.
Yeah.
I know today's standards that CGI was pretty bad, but I mean back then that was fucking nuts. Like that shit was nuts.
Yeah, it was a pretty intense
Yeah.
scene. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's pretty wild. Brian, what was your favorite scene?
I agree with Joe. I really did like the whole driving the car through with the shotguns and stuff. I think when they first started doing like the flashbacks where he's getting like the PTSD and stuff like that, it's starting to hint at like what's going on. It was really, I always enjoy like the stuff like that.
Yeah.
Especially when it shows him in like the bunker for the first time. I think that was the first moment where I started to like, why does he have a picture of that guy's mom? Like, what's all this stuff going on? I was really trying to figure out what was happening at that point, and I love whenever stuff like that comes up.
And I did like the scene when near the beginning when they were just in the cop car, and he was just explaining like what's happening. Like, here's what's happening. I'm from the future.
Yeah.
There are these cyborgs. We're at war, and you are the mother of one of the leaders.
Yeah, the leader of the resistance.
Yeah.
I think he did a pretty good job with that. There's a lot of movies that do that part bad, where they're like, I need to explain plot to you, because it's just sort of like lazy writing, and I think here they did it somewhat well, where it's like, it's very clearly how they're explaining things to you, but there's a couple of parts where he's like, she'll just ask a question, he's like, well, they're very realistic, he has bad breath and stuff.
Yeah.
So the movie in general was technically James Cameron's first full feature-length film. He actually has a director's credit on another movie called Piranha 2. But James Cameron was actually fired after 5 days of filming on Piranha 2. But not because he was bad or anything like that. It was because
he was like, what if the piranhas were actually robots this time?
No, well,
sent from the future.
Well, this is funny you bring this up, Brian, because it is actually during Piranha 2 that James Cameron came up with the idea for the Terminator.
Interesting.
He had been fired, but he actually wanted to be involved in the post production, so he flew to Rome, where the picture was actually being edited. And he actually secretly was like editing the movie, but he flew to Rome using his advance for his payment for the movie. And the entire advance covered the plane ticket. He had no money for food, for a place to stay, anything like that. This is what they say about it, right? And he got really sick while he was there because he was eating like scraps of food. He was editing the movie without, like, unknown to the producer of the movie and stuff like that. Yeah. Which the guy eventually found out and recut the movie back to the way he wanted it, which the movie is garbage, Piranha 2. But he got really sick when he was in Rome doing this because he was malnourished and all this stuff. And he had a dream of half of a robot torso crawling across the floor, and I think it had like knives for hands, like Edward Scissorhandsy. But that was what the fever dream he had that turned into the Terminator.
Interesting.
So another fact for you here is that the line "I'll be back."
Yep.
Arnold was having such a hard time saying that because his accent, he was so thick, he really was having a hard time. So he asked if he could change the line a little bit, like, I will be back, like, instead of using contraction. Apparently he like tried to reason with James Cameron that a Terminator, a machine, wouldn't use contractions.
Okay.
And James Cameron was like, don't tell me how to write, and I won't tell you how to act. Because James Cameron's, like, historically kind of a giant douche. If you listen to stories like, just shooting forward a little bit, Josh Brolin, Josh Brolin, supposedly Cameron wrote a part for him in the Avatar movies, and Brolin was like, nah, I'm not into it. And Cameron, like, verbally came at him, and then Brolin was like, I'll crush you because I don't want your shit. And Brolin's like a huge dude, and like Cameron's like not. So, but anyway.
Side note: please don't sue us, Mr. James Cameron.
Yeah. we might have to edit that story out.
Yeah, maybe we'll cut that one out.
But so then he basically said, here's what we'll do. We're gonna do 10 takes. I'll do the best one, and that was how I'll Be Back happened. Two other last fact stories. Cameron, because he had such a bad experience on Piranha 2, decided or tried when he got he wrote the script for this movie. He was trying to pitch it to the studio, and he famously sold the script to the studio for $1. That's what he made for $1 under the condition that he would be the director and he could make the version he wanted to make.
Yep.
Because again, Piranha, they cut it so
Yeah.
terribly.
Yeah.
And he had a bad experience with that. So that was the agreement. And the last little side note fact, the studio, when casting, originally Arnold came in for the role of Kyle Reese. That was where he wanted to play. He'd just done Conan. He was a good guy. It was a big movie for him. So he was reading for Reese, basically. But he had such good ideas and ideas of what the Terminator would be like that Cameron was like, I think you could play the Terminator. Arnold was a little weird about it because he didn't want to play a bad guy. He just played a good guy in this movie, and he wants to be established as a big-time actor. The studio originally wanted O.J. Simpson to be the Terminator.
That would have been great.
So 1984.
Non-murdery O.J.
Yeah.
Simpson.
Yeah, pre-murder.
Pre-murder. He was actually doing movies.
Okay.
Yep. O.J. Simpson could have been the Terminator.
Arnold and OJ.
Arnold and OJ.
Teaming up in the Terminator.
Teaming up in the Terminator.
Teaming against each other.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yep.
Okay. Neat.
So, immediate reactions to the movie. What did you guys think of the Terminator?
Oh, it's great. It checks all the boxes. It's got time travel. It's got, that ridiculous makeup. It's got a little bit of a love story. A love story in there.
Are you saying really quick, when you said ridiculous makeup, are you talking about the practical effects, like the real effects that weren't CG?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
cool.
yeah. Like the rubber mask.
Yeah, the robot, they actually
The
made like a
stop-motion robot.
Yes. Yeah, they made a robot of Arnold when he like touches his eye in the mirror and stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, it was a good movie, though. I liked it.
Yeah, I'm glad we watched it.
Cool.
Awesome.
Well, I'm glad you guys liked it, and I don't know. We'll have to see what you idiots need to see next.
Yeah. So I guess we'll do another one. So I guess technically you could say we'll be back.
Boo. I don't care if you're grumpy about it. Sit down. We still have to record the ending here. Then you can talk all you want.
Now, Monday morning AM radio host.
Hi, welcome to Reel Doofs. I'm Drew, and I've seen a lot of movies. Wicka, wicka, wicka. Like, yeah.
That's not Monday morning at 8 a.m. Monday morning at 8 a.m. is like, and welcome to Soft Rock.
And welcome to Reel
To start
Doofs.
off your Monday morning
I'm Drew,
with a good
and I've seen a lot of movies.